have covered users and everything about users, creating attributes, groups, creating group rules, creating custom attributes, right? We also covered self-service registration the last day. What we are going to cover today is creating different user types in Okta. And post that, we'll start with a topic called app integration. Okay, so logging into Okta. Before that, if you have any question regarding any assignment which I gave you or from the previous topic, you can let me know.
I had a couple of questions. Um,
Yeah.
will we be doing the app integration first? Are we supposed to be doing setting up the virtual server on our own, or is that something we do after we do the app integration part?
Curriculum wise, app integration is before the directory integration. But if you are interested, I can also do it. Those are all independent topics, like not dependent on each other. So I can go either way. Either we can do directory integration first and then app integration. I
Um,
think you have downloaded the ISO files already, correct?
yeah,
Everyone?
I downloaded the
Yes.
ISO image in the virtual box, and I'm pretty much at the part in the virtual box where you upload the image to
Mm-hmm.
create the machine, but I just stopped at that point.
Okay. Yeah, in that case, we can start with the directory integration as we are already prepared for it. And then once the directory integration is done, we can then start looking at the app integration, okay?
Okay.
All right. So there is a very small topic left regarding the user. We'll complete that first. So I'll go to directory profile editor. But before that, if you go to directory people and if you try to create a user, for you, you would see only user as option. And if you do a drop down, you will only see the user. You will not see anything else apart from that. Okay, that is because in your Okta environment, you might have only one Okta user profile, which is user default. We can create our own user profile and we can name it anything like how I have created contractors and full-time employees. I can create something called customers. This names can be anything. This does not mean that they will have an attribute which is only for customer. Okta does not know what a customer is, right? So it will have all the basic attribute which a user has, and then we can create our custom attributes. But what is the benefit of creating a custom user type when we already have user default where we were able to create custom attribute here as well, right? Then why do you think Okta is providing us an option to create custom user type like this customers and have the exact same feature of creating the attributes and everything? Any idea? Anything which comes to your mind? Why do you think Okta has given us this ability to create different user type?
In case we want to allow some to do self-registration and some we want to do manually. For example, employees versus customers or something like that.
But how is this user type allowing you the feature of registration versus screening manually?
Is you can set it as one type and oh well I guess yeah it would be before they even arrive at the thing, right? I guess that wouldn't make sense.
So user type will not help you in this use case which you have discussed. So we need to look for something else.
Is it because different directories have different attributes that they might prioritize or use? over others? And if you
No, so basically you will see that when we do the directory integration, we don't have an ability to select a user type. So it will by default be Okta user default. All right. So maybe the real reason is they want to keep the attributes segregated. I'm not talking in sense of any automation or anything. It's just a manual effort. Let's say when I'm creating a user called customer, right? Customer one, I might have few preferences from the customer with or some attributes which only a customer has, like subscription fee. Okay, let's say I am storing what subscription user has subscribed for my product, right? And what is the fee the user has paid for that subscription. I can store the subscription name, payment, right? Everything in an attribute if I would like. But do you think for my employee, does the same apply? Will he have a subscription? No. Will he have to pay for a subscription? No. So do you think having a common user profile and common set of attributes does work for this use case?
No, I can see how that would make things a lot more organized, a lot easier.
Yeah. So why the reason Okta gives us this feature is that we can segregate the attribute. By default, yes, both the profiles will have the base attributes which are available from Okta. But any attribute which you create here, let's say we create a subscription attribute. And I want to call this as a subscription name. Okay. And I click on yes. This attribute will not be available to our users because they are of user type, right? They're not of type customer. So if you go to their profile and if you scroll down, nobody has a subscription attribute. But if I create a new user now of type customer, let's say I'm creating customer one, and the user name is customer one at gmail.com. Save. And if I go to customer one's profile, you will see that customer one, oh, I made one mistake. I did not create the customer as a customer, I created that as a user. I had to select customer from the drop down, and now I have to create customer two. And I have to then provide these information. After these information are provided, the user which will be created will be of type customer. If I go to customer two, so you see the user type is of customer, and this user will not have any of the attributes which we created before except the base attribute, but it will have the subscription attribute which we just created, right? So it has a subscription attribute, but it does not have a graduated attribute or the attributes which we created during our previous sessions, because this is of different, entirely different user type, and it does not have those attributes attached to it. So what we can also do is we can create users like this, and we can segregate the attributes based on the requirement. If two of our profile do not have common attributes, then we do not need to keep them as one profile. We can have a multiple profile. This is a good point or good side of it, but there are some downside of it as well. One, if you are very heavy on your group rules, then it will not work. Group rules will not work on custom user type. Okay. So any group rule which you have created where you could have called user.email or user.something, it will not work for customers dot username or customers dot something. That will fail. So that's a limitation of Okta. Secondly, from when you integrate a directory source, let's say uh, Active Directory or any other, then you cannot choose the users to be created as a customer directly. You have to manually convert the users to be a customer or manually create them as a customer, but you cannot have a direct import of users as a customer. They will always import it as a user. So these are no limitation, and we cannot do anything about it. It's a product limitation from Okta. If I want to convert this customer into a real into a user of user type, then what I can do is I can click on change, and then it will bring me this form where I can select the user type I want to change to. So I want to change to a user of user type. And then it says that the username from customers will be mapped to the username in user data type. First name will be mapped to first name and so on. And these are the values which are being reflected, right? And similarly, if you see, since this does not have a subscription attribute, so if I go for subscription, it says no attribute. That means when I convert this user into a user, it will not have any subscription attribute. But I also have an option to select all of these other attributes which the user has, and I can then provide certain value. Now, if I click on change user type, user got changed into a user and lost the attribute called subscription and got all other attributes which other user has. Cool. Any question?
Yeah, yes. No.
Okay. Similarly, we can convert any other user into a customer by clicking on change. And it will do the same thing. You have to select customers from the list. It will again do the profile mapping. It will show that username from user is now going to be the username in customer, and this is the value. Similarly, the attributes which you have for user but you do not have in customers will be shown as no attribute. And subscription name is an attribute which is not there in the user but they are in a customer. So you can specify a value, let's say Flexi Plan 1. And you can click on change user type. So this will change the user into a customer. And you can see user loses all other attributes and just has a subscription name attribute with the value which we provided, Flexi Plan 1. So this is all about custom user type. If you would like to test your group rule by creating a rule of anything called customers, let's say customer group rule. And if you want to say customers dot subscription name equals to Flexi Plan 1, then assign the group to any group, let's say sample group, okay? And if you click on save, it says invalid expression. And it will not let you save because Okta does not know what to do with this custom user type customers. Any doubt, question?
No.
Okay. So if nobody has a question, then we have completed the topic of users and groups. Now we are and custom profile attributes. Now we are going to start the topic of directory integration. I think at the very first day we discussed something about the directory and Active Directory we specific. So a directory service is nothing but it's a database where you store all of your users, groups, and other organizational objects, which can be your printer, your network devices, and so on, right? So all of these things, when I say store, it is not like a storehouse or warehouse where you store these equipments. No, It's like a database where you store the digital identity of these things, right? A user digital identity, like how we store users and groups in Okta in a digital form. Similarly, network devices will have some property like IP address, MAC address, and so on, right? So we can create a profile for network devices and we can store and identify these devices in a digital form in our directory service as well. Similarly, printers can also have a similar identity. Let's say I can call a printer on my third floor. If it's a black and white printer, I can say that Canon black and white third floor printer one. I cannot have again a printer with the same name. Then I have to, if I have the same name, then I have to have a different IP address and so on. There can be an IP address associated with the printer. There would be a MAC address associated with the printer. There would be a print server associated with the printer. So those are all the information or the attributes about a printer which we can store in directory service. With Okta, we are limited to users and groups only, but with other directory services like Active Directory, Oracle Directory, or any other LDAP, Open LDAP directory which you have worked with, you will see that it does not have a restriction of the object types. It can be of any object type. It will just store it fine. So we will be looking at Active Directory and how does it look like, how we can work with Active Directory. But for now, just remember when I refer to directory service, it's a database to store your users and groups and any other organizational objects. So for Active Directory, we will require a Windows Server. Our standard Windows 10 or Windows 11 is not going to work to host an Active Directory. So we need to create a Windows Server, and we downloaded already the ISO file previously and installed Oracle VirtualBox. If someone has not done so far or still had struggled to do so, I'll be showing you the steps which you can follow. I'm not sure if it's going to work for me, but let me see. Has everyone installed the ISO already?
I have downloaded the ISO files, but I haven't mounted them.
Okay, so everybody has downloaded the files, but nobody has installed it, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Has everyone installed Oracle Virtual Manager at least?
Yes.
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 I get 3 yeses, I think 2 more. Who is not responding?
Sorry,
Kira,
I just came back to class because my laptop restarted. So I missed the
okay.
last couple things that you said.
I was asking if you have installed Oracle VirtualBox already.
Yes, I have.
Okay. And who was other? I think one person has not joined today. So I would assume entire class has installed Oracle VirtualBox. So I'll start with installation of Windows Server. Uh, if you have installed Oracle VirtualBox, you might not see this software training here. For you, it will be a blank. So you can click on new and you can create a virtual machine. I will name this as Okta Training 2. You can just name it as Okta Training. If we can leave it to the default folder, it is going to save our virtual machine in. So it is going to save it in C users train VirtualBox VM. If you want to store into a different folder, then you can select the folder of your choice. Type is Microsoft Windows because that's what we are going to install. And in the version, you can select the version which you have downloaded. I downloaded 2019 64-bit. So I would select that and click on next. Okay, so I have to then select another folder. Let's see if it works. Yeah. Then you have to specify the amount of RAM you want to provide to this virtual machine. I expect everybody's computer has 12 gigs or more. If you have less than 12 gig, it should at least be 8 gig. In that case, you can give 2 GB RAM to your virtual machine, which is 2048 megabytes. If you have 12, then you can increase it to 4096. Okay, and click on next. You can have this option selected, create a virtual hard disk now, so that it in this computer, the Windows server which we are going to install, it will have a C drive, and it will create a relevant folder on your computer to store the files on the C drive on a virtual machine. Once you click on create, it will ask what kind of hard drive you want to create. You can select with virtual hard disk, which I use personally. You can use these other as well, but they are helpful when you want to migrate this image from one device into another devices. But I don't think so we are going to do this with demo, so we are just going to stick with virtual hard disk. You can have it dynamically allocated, otherwise it will straight up eat the amount of space which you specify for this hard drive. I don't like that. So as it starts to fill up, it will keep on storing those files in that folder. So it's like dynamic instead of straight away blocking 50 GB or 100 GB from my computer. Then I can decide how much the maximum capacity of hard drive space I want to give to the virtual server. If you have 256 GB and above SSD, you can go for 50 GB. And you can finally click on create. So this will create a machine here for you. Did I not say Okta training 2?
Oh, you did.
Then why it just says Okta training? I think this is a new one, okay. So now you will see one of the virtual machine getting added here. So select that virtual machine and click on start, this green button. And if this is the first time you are running this virtual machine which you have just created, it will ask you to start up device. So this will be the ISO file which we have downloaded. You can click on this icon and then you can click on add. I have a file here. You will not have this file. So you click on add and select the ISO file which you have downloaded. So I select the ISO file which I have downloaded and click on open. Once you click on open, you will see that it will get attached here. So select that link or the file and click on choose. So that will use this ISO file which we downloaded earlier as our startup disk, and click on start. So this will try to read the file from that, read the ISO file, and that ISO file is nothing but an image of Windows Server 2019. So it will start the installation process. I can maximize this and we can get through the Windows installation part. It is very easy. If you have already done this before, you can just follow along. If you have not, then you can note down the steps.
I
Or
had
if
one.
you're doing it, Mhm.
I had one question. When you did the initial creating of the virtual machine, did you um, do skip unattended installation or?
Uh, no, so if you are getting an option to select unattended installation, then I think there is an option of saying, no, I don't want to perform unattended installation.
Yeah, it tells me skip. It asked me for base memory, which you said was 2048, and then CPUs. How many?
Leave it to one core.
Okay.
Yeah, because it is then going to use. So let's say if you have four core CPU, it will use that much of the CPU resource. Leave it to one core. We don't want it to be fast enough.
And then can I share my? I'm sorry to be so needy, but can I
No
share
problem.
something with you real quick
Sure.
with the team?
Yeah, so I think you have the newest version of Oracle VirtualBox, so you can share your screen. I think others will have the same, so it would be helpful.
Okay. Oh, I have a permission I had on my computer, so I just allowed access, but I'm gonna have to close out of Teams and reopen it. So give me just a minute. I'll be right back.
Sure.
I'm definitely gonna need you to go over creating a new virtual machine one more time. I didn't catch all of it. I got most of it, but not all of it.
Yeah, for me
Okay.
too.
And do you guys also have the newest version of Oracle VirtualBox where it asks for unattended installation as well?
I'm not sure. I did not get that far.
So once, I think it was Irfan, right? So once Irfan starts sharing the screen, we can ask him to like start from the beginning so you can catch all the steps, and he would have most probably the same version as you.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Oops. So this is what I'm seeing. Select the image. It asked me, do I want to skip I selected skip unattended installation.
Okay, yeah.
Base
And
memory.
then RAM is 2048, which is fine. Processor, leave it to 1. Next, yeah.
Virtual hard.
Then virtual hard disk 50 GB is fine. You can click on next
All right, cool.
and finish.
That's it.
Anyone who wants to like go over the steps again, or if you have a different options, you can let me know.
Yeah. Do you mind if I share my screen?
Sure. Irfan, if you try to click on start button, the green one at the right hand side, and you should see Windows loading.
Yeah, I see the same step as you.
Right. Yeah. So you need to specify the machine name here, observe. Sorry, us. Is it
Okay,
us
so
for?
yes, as for
Okay.
then when I select the ISO image here, um,
You need to click on other. Yeah.
and
And go to the folder where you downloaded.
yeah, it's just in my downloads. I believe it's the bottom one. Is that correct?
That would be an assumption because the file names are. Can you expand the file name?
Yep.
Yeah. So, okay. So second one is your Windows 10. The first one is your server. So let's select the first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll click
Open.
open, and then here, this is the skip unattended
Yeah,
installation.
correct. So
Okay.
you need to select that.
Okay. Select it, and then click next,
Yes, correct.
and this is fine. I can leave it the way it is.
Yeah.
Is there any benefit to increasing it, like you said, to 4 gigabytes?
Yeah, so you can increase it to 4096. It will just make your virtual machine work faster. Uh, but it's not a requirement, definitely, for the task which we have. Yeah, if your machine has 12 or 16 GB of RAM, you can go to 4096, no problem.
Okay, so it'll just work a little bit faster. That's fine. And then keep it single core.
Yeah,
And
and click
then
on next.
DGB. Okay,
This will
next.
be as it is, and finish. Now, if you click on Start green button, it should start loading the windows. It's trying to boot up, and now it's trying to load the windows here. So is everyone on this same page as we are?
No, mine gets stuck somewhere. So I put in the name as Okta Training, and then I put the folder as VirtualBox VMS. And then the ISO image type is it's those numbers, the 17763, that entire thing, and
Yeah.
then the edition I put as Windows Server 2019 standard evaluation. The type is Microsoft Windows. That's not really giving me any other option. And then skip unintended installation. Is that what I'm supposed to press?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then let me just share my screen too. I don't know why it's tiny. So what should I do this number as?
So what is the RAM your computer has? You can click on Start menu.
I take it.
And you can look for this PC.
This PC?
Yeah.
In here?
Yeah.
Okay, and
Getting an option to reset this PC. Or just type system. Yeah, system information.
okay.
Um,
Oh, right here, 16 GB.
16 GB. Yeah, you have 16 GB of RAM. So you can go for 4096.
Okay. 4096. Okay. And then the processor.
And that will be 1.
Okay, keep that to 1. Okay. And then for this,
Yeah.
the virtual hard disk.
This will be 50. Yeah, that will be as it is 50.
Okay. I have to click any of these?
No, no.
Okay. And that's
If
it.
you click on finish, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Can you go to the folder where you have downloaded this ISO file? I want to see the file name. I think you have selected Windows 10. Maybe. Let's see.
Yeah, I did. This one right here.
This is server. Okay, no, this is server. That's fine. Can you try to click on start? No, no, not here. In the virtual box,
Okay.
you have a green start button, right?
Yes.
Yeah, if you click on that, let's see if it works.
I don't know why everything is really small.
It is working. It is just starting. Yeah, so you are on the same page now. And from here, everybody, the step should remain the same. I'll start sharing my screen again. So you can select your language to install, which will be English United States itself. Time and currency would be same, keyboard same, US. And click on next and click on install now. This will start the installation process for your Windows Server. While this is taking time, one piece of advice, Never close your virtual machine by clicking on this close button. The reason being, it will then close the machine in a state it was created. So when the machine was created, there were certain settings which your machine did not have, which we will enable after it is created, and you will lose all of those settings. Okay. So you will always need to do a full shutdown from the start menu here once the machine is created. As of now, we are just installing it. When you're making a selection here, please make sure that you select either of these desktop version, but not this standard evaluation. The reason being, if you select the desktop experience, then you get a UI. Otherwise, you get a blank command prompt window, and you have to work through commands only. If you select desktop experience, then only you get a user interface like this. So you can select data center standard. It does not matter for our project. Any one of these is good, but please make sure it is of desktop experience. Then click on next. Then this is general accept the license terms. And click on custom install, not upgrade. We are not upgrading from Windows 10 to 11 or anything. We are doing a fresh new installation of Windows Server, so we'll go with custom install. And if you want to create 25 GB, 30 GB drive, 20 GB drive, which we do for our personal computers, but I don't think it is needed for a virtual machine. So we'll just click on next and we'll have only one drive. And now it is copying the files from the ISO into an executable file by the computer, the virtual machine, so that whenever it boots up, instead of reading it from the ISO, it will read it locally. This will take about 5 minutes, maybe, depending upon my computer speed. For you, it may be slower or faster, depending upon your computer speed.
So I have a question. So I got all the way up to this exact spot where it says, where do you want to install Windows? And because the unallocated space, but for some reason, it's not showing me 50 gigabytes. It's only showing me 4 megabytes.
4 megabytes.
Yeah. And I didn't change no setting when you told me to skip that part when you were telling everybody. I left it the way it is, but for some reason, only 4 megabytes came on.
Can you share your screen once?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, can you click on the top back button?
The top back, which top back? Like this one? Oh.
Yeah. And if you click on custom. Okay. Windows can't install. Yeah, that's true. Go back. I think it was. Yeah, go back. But before that, there was no. Okay, can you close this virtual machine? Click on the top. Yeah, close button.
Just exit
Yeah.
out?
Yeah,
Okay.
correct. And say, no, don't save the machine. Just say power of the machine. Okay.
Okay, just exit out. Okay.
Yeah, I think you stopped sharing your screen as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you right click on this machine once, if you right click on the name Okta training on the left hand side,
Yes.
on the left hand side on the machine,
Yes.
I don't see the option. It's just, I just see a black box. I don't see the options which you have. Let me go to my virtual machine and see what options I have so I can tell you. Yeah, you have, do you have an option of reset when you right click on it?
It's not letting me. It's just blank. It's blacked out. Like I can't click on it.
You cannot click on it. Okay. Okay, start it again. Let's see if it gives you 50 GB.
Should I like re-download it? Should I like remove it? There's an
Yeah,
option.
you can also delete. Yeah,
Remove.
you can delete it and you can just recreate it. No problem.
I'll do that again. And delete all files.
Sure.
New.
Okta is OKTA.
And then for this one. Other. Intended next. 4396 one CPU. So you see, it says 50 right here, right? This is where it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Correct.
Next, finish, start.
I think you are only sharing the virtual box, so I cannot see the new window which you have.
Okay, 1 second. Um, stop. There you go.
Yeah, that's fine. Custom, yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, you can, yeah, correct.
Okay. Maybe it just didn't change by itself. Okay. Thank you.
No
Sir.
worries, so this will take few minutes. Yeah, you can stop sharing. Share my screen now. For me, I think for me, all the steps are completed. Just restarting the computer. Not my computer, but the virtual machine. Okay, so for me, the computer has restarted and I am in position to create my first user account. And it is mandatory to create this account. By default, if you see, I don't have an option to edit the username. It is going to be an administrator and I can set a password. So I can provide a password of my choice. You can set a password which you like. And click on finish. It will take again a minute or two to start your computer. It was quick. Yeah, so you will not be able to directly use your keyboard shortcuts for this virtual machine. So what you need to do is you need to click on input at the top, keyboard, and then there are predefined shortcuts which you can use. So if everything goes right, you should be seeing this screen at least. Let me know once everyone is on the screen.
So when it says press Control or Alt Delete to unlock, then sorry, what did you do after that?
You have to click on input here at the top and click on keyboard and then insert Control Alt Delete. So if everyone is on this screen, that means your Windows Server is ready and installed. Now we have to start installing Active Directory on this Windows Server. Now, the reason it is called as a server because it runs few services for our users, right? And you will see that one server can have one service or it can have many service, right? So like for example, a print server only has a print service. So the only job of print server is to take a printing job as an input and send it to the printers and mark it successful. Earlier, we used to have fax servers, which the job of fax server is to accept the fax inputs. Um, we had storage servers, which would provide us a storage utility. Then we have servers like AD servers, which only job is to provide us with the AD capabilities. Then you will have servers related to an application, which will only let you host that specific application. And that's why it is called as Windows Server because it is running a specific service. So on this server also currently we just installed the Windows Server, but it is not running any specific service in our question. So we are going to install some service on this server, which will be our Active Directory service. Now the full name of the service is Active Directory Domain Services, which we are going to install. And once we install Active Directory Domain Services, this server is also called as Domain Controller because it is going to control or manage our Active Directory domain, which we are going to create in our further steps. Okay, so this is why it is called as Windows Server, and we would be performing some installation steps now.
Hey, Summit, I have a red, like, you see where it says local server on your window? Uh, I have like a red flag over local server, and it shows services. There's a red flag over services. When I click on it, it shows me like a Windows desktop and download. Can I share my screen real quick?
Sure.
I also have the same thing showing on my screen as well.
Okay.
Um, so it's this right here. Let me see if I can.
And if you refresh, if you click on refresh at the top, okay. If you close this and just click on refresh at the top.
If I click on services, this is what it gives me.
Yeah, it says, it either says download maps manager.
Yep, download maps manager, service name maps broker, status stopped.
Yeah, so it just displaying that there is a service called Maps Broker. I'm not sure what it is used for. That is stopped, and it says the start type was automatic, so it was about to start automatic, but it has just stopped. But I think it's fine because we are not going to use that service anyway. I'm not sure if in the newer version which you have, if there is any service called Maps Broker.
Let me see if I can switch out of this because it's in full.
So you need to press the host key, which is Control plus the right Windows key, sorry, left Windows key.
Um, the issue is I'm using a Mac.
Oh,
Here, let me exit out of full screen mode. There it goes. Okay. Um, I guess so. I guess we just ignore this for now.
yeah, correct.
Okay. I'll stop sharing my screen.
Okay, so now we can click on Add Rows and Feature. Just for you, like for whom you're seeing those red warnings, right? You can go to services.msc in the Start menu. It will bring up this Services app. If you click on it, and look for the service which is stopped working. Like for you, it was Maps Broker or something, right? You would find that service here. I don't even see that service running in my system. So I think for the new system, it is available. So let's say if this is not running, right? Then you just right click on it and click on Start. It may be failing due to certain reason. For me, it's not even available.
Sir, I mean, I can't see your screen. Are you sharing your screen, Professor?
Yeah. Can not anyone see my screen?
I
Yeah.
cannot see it.
I can't see it.
You can or cannot?
I cannot.
I
Cannot
cannot.
either.
There again. How about now?
Now, yeah.
I can
Yes,
see
sir.
it now.
We can see it now.
Yeah, so I said if you go to start menu and type services.msc, you'll see this app. If you click on this app, it opens this box called services. Here you can find the service which has stopped working. Like in his case, it was downloads maps manager. And you can just right click and click on start. That will start the service. For me also, it is not running, but I'm not seeing any of those errors which you are. So you can probably ignore this, or if you want to fix it, you can just right click and click on start. All right. Apart from that, once we have this server manager up and running, it will let us configure certain services. So we need to click on add roles and features so that we can add a role called domain controller to our computer and our Windows server and configure it as one of the domain controllers so it can manage our Active Directory domains. So I will hit next here and I'll go for role-based or feature-based installation. And I can click on next. I would only have one server in my pool, so I will just select that and continue. All right, now this is the server roles which we can install. From all of these rows, the rows which we are interested is called Active Directory Domain Services. We are going to check that box and it is asking us if we also want to install the features which will give us an ability of user interface to manage Active Directory. So I'll click on add features and this will include all the roles and features which Active Directory Domain Services require. And I click on next. and I will not select anything else. I just click on next few times until I see the install option and click on install. So this will start the installation process of Active Directory in this server.
Sumit, I kind of missed how you started this installation process. What did you click?
Yeah, I clicked on this button here called Add Roles and Features.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to manage the video and the thing together. I apologize.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, no problem.
So for me, in the beginning, it just completely vanished. The whole screen is gone. As soon
When
as
you see this screen, the server manager is not there.
no, as soon as I put in the administrator password, it started it started the installation process, and then everything just vanished. It's gone.
Okay, so you can click on Start menu and you can look for Server Manager. It's an app installed in your computer, so you will see a Server Manager here, and you can just select this and it will start the same screen which you had before.
Okay, go to server manager and then what? Sorry, like I can't see this your screen and then my screen at the same time.
Yeah, you can click on Start menu and you can type Server space Manager, and it will show this app here on the search. You can click on this app and it should bring this screen back.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, it doesn't show that there's an app.
It doesn't show the
It
server manager as an app.
Yeah, it doesn't show that. Can I share my screen for a second, please? I'm so
So,
sorry.
yeah.
It's just on this, and everything else vanished. There's this, and if I go to server manager,
No, this is your own computer, so you will not find a server manager here.
oh, okay, okay.
Can you go back the screen which is just behind? Yeah. And if you click on that green arrow again,
Uh-huh. I'll click on it. Okay.
yeah, it says aborted.
Mm. Yeah, kind of stuck.
Can you click on the icon beside Microsoft Teams on your taskbar?
This one?
The bottom? No, the one beside Teams.
Oh,
The one to the right to the Teams. Yeah, this one.
Mhm.
Yeah. And can you maximize it? You click on that maximize button. Yeah, now if you click on input at the very top, input at the top, keyboard, insert control alt delete here. Type in your password.
Did I reset the password? I think I forgot it.
I think you would be able to reset your password now because you don't have any other option of providing a security question or something. You can, okay. Give it a few seconds. You can click on cancel here and no. And server manager is already starting. You can also close this box here. Okay, now you can click on add roles and features. Yes. On next. Role-based installation. Yes, next. You would only have one server, so you can hit next. Yeah, so from this rows, you will need to select the second one, which is Active Directory Domain Services. The second one. Yeah, and you can click on add features because that's what we want to do. And click on next. You can unselect the third one. Yeah, that's fine. Next. Next. We will not select anything manually here. Next. And install. So this will take a minute to install Active Directory on your computer. We are not done yet, but we are running ahead of our time. So I hope everybody is at least here till this step of installing Active Directory. Or does anyone has still an issue? So I can guide them through on a screen share.
I got to that part.
Mm-hmm.
After downloading the Active Directory, is there anything else we're supposed to do?
Yes.
As far as should we let this always be running, or are we supposed to shut it down?
Yeah, you are supposed to shut it down, but before that, we'll do view activity here. So you click on close here at the bottom, and then you should see this flag in your server manager. If server manager is closed, then you can click on start menu on your virtual machine, and you can click on server manager and relaunch it. So once you click on this flag, you should see a task called post deployment configuration. And you need to click on this link in the task which says promote this server to a domain controller. So currently it's just a server where you have Active Directory role installed. So Microsoft is telling you that since it has an Active Directory role installed, it can become one of the domain controller, which can handle the Active Directory users and groups. So in Active Directory, we create something called as domain. Okay. Domain is, you consider it like a box under which you can put many objects. One can be a user, another can be a group, uh, third one can be a printer or any other object which your organization uses. So it acts as like a boundary for these different objects. They cannot go outside of that box. So this box is called as domain. When you have multiple domain, then you can put these box into a large size boxes, or you can put these different boxes in a larger size box, which will become a forest. So like forest is a top level boundary which can contain multiple domains. And within each domains, you can have users, groups, and any other objects. Okay, so it forms a tree-like structure where forest is at the top. Then you have different domains, and within domains, you have again different users and groups and so on. Within domain, you can also have subdomain, child domain. That's making it a bit more complex, but for simplicity, you'll keep forest with one domain and one domain with multiple users and group. So in order to manage that domain, we create a domain controller which has permission to add, remove users to that computer, to that Active Directory domain and so on. So I need to click on promote this server to a domain controller, and it will start a process of creating a domain or asking me to confirm whether I already have a domain. and this is just an additional server configured for this domain. So since I do not have any domain existing, I will click on add new forest, because I told you the outer layer or the topmost boundary is a forest under which domains reside. Even if you have one domain, that will still reside in a forest. So when you don't have any domain, that means you don't even have a forest. So when you are creating your very first domain, you click on add new forest and specify your very first domain name. I will go with oktatraining.com as my domain name. You can also use the same, or if you want to continue with anything else of your choice, you can also do the same. And click on next. So this will create a new forest with this domain. And forest function level, domain function level, although you do not need it for the Okta purpose, but I'll just let you know, if you have other servers where you have this Active Directory already connected and this is additional server which you're installing, then you need to specify the forest functional level, which tells you that this is a minimum computer requirement where you can manage that particular forest. And for domain functional level, this is a minimum computer requirement from where you can manage the domain. And a domain controller has multiple roles. Again, this is for your general knowledge. It is not required for Okta. It has 5 roles. One of the role is a global catalog role, or GC, and the other role is RODC, or read-only domain controller. So we are going to create this server as a GC, or global catalog. So global catalog is like a server which has an entire replica of your domain controller for authentication purpose. So it's like it's mostly used for authentication purpose, and it just copies. So let's say you have multiple domain controls, 5 domain controllers. So if one of them is a GC, then it will always have a replica of the other 4 domain controllers, so that you are not out of sync any point of time. And I have to specify a password. This is called as recovery passwords, in case anytime your other domain servers or domain controllers are down and you want to switch the roles, then you are going to use this backup password. We will never have that scenario in our case. So you can specify any password, but we are not going to use it anyway. So I'll just keep the same password as my computer password. I will not select any other option. I'll just click on next few times until I get my install button activated. And while it is working through this, to give you a knowledge, the NetBIOS name is an old way of specifying your domain name. So if you have worked with other companies, you might have logged into their computer using the username, which is their domain backslash and your username, right? This is the old format supported by previous servers. The first part of which is the domain slash, is called as NetBIOS name. So I gave my domain name as oktatraining.com, and Okta is my NetBIOS name. So let's say if you have worked with Accenture, then it would be like Accenture slash your username. If we have worked with any other company like Deloitte, it may be Deloitte slash and your username. These are the default location where the database will be created and users and groups will be stored. They are usually stored in this database, which is called as NTDS, which is like New Technology Directory Services. That was a name given to it when this was developed. At that point of time, it was a very new technology, but not now. So I'll just hit on next few times until I get the install button, as I said previously as well, to install and promote this server as a domain controller. All right, I have install button activated now, so I'll just click on install and this will go with the process. You can ignore these warnings until there are errors. If you have errors, let me know. for warnings, you can ignore this. Once this installation is completed, your server will be rebooted automatically. I think it will just take 2 to 3 minutes more. So if you can extend your call for 2 to 3 minutes more, I would appreciate that. Okay, so it says you're about to be signed out. You can click on close or it will automatically close and shut down your computer. I just click on close and I'll close this. It will restart the computer in a second. Yes, it's restarting. There is a task for you. Once I get the login page, can you spot a difference between the login page which I saw previously and the one which I'm going to see now?
Will it show the domain at the bottom?
Maybe. This is why I give 4096. It makes the virtual machine a lot slower. Any question so far from anyone? So I can answer and we can utilize this time.
Yeah, so for me, again, as soon as it started installing, it aborted the task and everything was gone again.
And you gave 4096 as a RAM, right?
Yes.
Hey, can you delete that virtual machine entirely and try to create a new virtual machine with 2048 as a RAM and one CPU and see if that works for you? It may
Okay.
be that although you have 16 GB of RAM, but your main computer is utilizing some RAM for some reason and it just crashes.
Okay, I'll try that.
All right, it took so long, but it's finally here. So I would log in. Yeah, so you were right. You'll see the domain name and enter my password. So we have completed our step of installing Active Directory and promoting the server as a domain controller. So once the server manager loads up, you will see a new feature added on your server manager called Active Directory. If we go to local server, dashboard, why doesn't it show Active Directory? Okay, if you click on manage, sorry, not manage tools, and if you see Active Directory users and computer, that is the module which you're going to use for this course. Once you click on it, you should be able to see your domain in an Active Directory. Yeah, now it shows up ADDS. Yeah, so this is the domain which we created. If you double click on it, it expands into these different folders, which is also called as organizational units or containers. If you double click on users folder or container, you can see all the users and groups, which is created by default by Microsoft Active Directory. You haven't created them users yet. So this is where we are going to create our users and groups, and we can see how we can create our own containers like this in our next session. For now, please make sure not to cross out from here, but to click on this start menu from the server itself and shut down the server properly so that it saves to the current state instead of just crossing out from here. Otherwise, you might have to just redo the entire AD installation part. All right, so for me, it's now powered off and we are good to go. Any question for today? I know we are already late, but if anybody has any question.
I just want to say thank you for walking us through this. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much. I don't think I would have gotten it without some direct coaching.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to need more help, but thank you again.
Sure, sir, definitely. Let me know whatever error you receive, or if you are stuck at any step, I can definitely help you.
Sumit, do you want me to name this one AD install?
Yeah, you can name this as like Windows Server AD directory configuration, or like Windows Server AD install. That's fine.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining this session today.